Good evening, all the participants from India. Good evening, and all the participants from US. Good morning. Welcome you all to this very pertinent session on turning adversity into opportunity. It's a very questionable kind of situation wherein we could ask this question that how we are going to turn this adversity into opportunity. To it gives me immense pleasure to invite our chairman, Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, Gujarat Council Chairman, Mr. Saresh Goel. Mr. Saresh Goel, a media and digital communication practitioner, advocacy advisor, CEO and MD of Simulations Public Affairs Management Services Private Limited. Sir, we welcome you to moderate this event and take it further.
Thank you, Subodh. Thank you very much. Hello, good evening and good morning to my friends in the US and North American region. I wish you all a very good evening and good morning, and I extend a very warm welcome to all of you for this virtual session on turning adversity into opportunity, how Indian companies emerged as champions in the pandemic and lockdown period and served their US clients. And I also take this opportunity to extend a very special welcome to our esteemed speakers today, Mr. Satish Patel, CEO and founder, Analytics Business Solutions, Mr. Rajiv Bhatia, the President and Country Head of Analytics Business Solutions, and Mr. Jaideep Ruparelia is the CEO and co-founder of InfoPercept Consulting. I also extend warm welcome to my colleague and incoming President, Mr. Sunil Dave, who is the Managing Director of BC Instruments based out of Ahmedabad. He is our incoming President. Welcome, Sunilji. So friends, as you are aware, Indo-American Chamber of Commerce is the preeminent chamber dedicated to the bilateral trade and cultivating the closer trade ties between India and the United States of America. The Gujarat branch of IACC has been more than 4 decades old and have been actively promoting the bilateral trade between both the countries with various efforts which includes the B2B ties, the select USA programs, the joint business delegations over a period of time, and also a lot of knowledge sessions like we are having today also. It is unfortunate that the lockdown had constrained us to do most of the programs online in the recent months. But as things are improving and business sentiments have gone up, we'll be soon having our venue-based in-person programs, and we'll be privileged of seeing you all each other. So at this juncture, friends, relations between the two countries have never been better. Our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji is in US and will be meeting the US President Joe Biden and the Vice President for their first in-person meeting tomorrow. So economic and strategic relations between the world's oldest democracy and the world's largest democracy have never been so strong. I'm very confident that the meetings between the two leaders will further enhance the bilateral trades and usher us into the cooperation on various issues. Coming to today's session, it is very well known fact that Indian service providers offer a range of services to the companies across the globe, and North America is one of the prominent geographical sector, which includes many of the largest and Fortune 5 companies, American companies as well. Of course, the pandemic came as a massive challenge for service providers, but they found a way to deliver despite the obstacles in the newer and the innovative ways. So our esteemed speakers will be sharing their experiences today with us about the pandemic times and how they ensured their services remained seamless or unaltered, unaffected despite the challenges. I have a request that if any of you have any questions, please put it in the chat box, Q&A box, which is visible on your the screens. We'll try and see that our expert speakers today answer them. With this, I take privilege and privilege of inviting our today's first speaker, Mr. Satish Patel, who is the CEO and founder of Analytics Business Solutions. Satish has been an entrepreneur and CPA providing business solutions for startups and small to mid-sized businesses for over two decades now. And his expertise includes finances, information technology, internal operations, among others. His passion to seamlessly guide businesses through their unique challenges as they proceed through the various stages of growth led him to form Analytics Solutions in 2006. And his breadth of business and accounting knowledge, coupled with his analytical skills, provided him to the insight to recognize the components that create a successful business. His ability to see the big picture, provide key insights, and then translate into the methodical process which is necessary to achieve success, empower his clients to be profitable. Working on one-to-one with his clients as a trusted advisor, Satish delivers scalable financial solutions to ensure data integrity in financial reporting and bookkeeping activities. His ultimate goal is to position his clients' businesses for growth and profitability. And with proven results, his company enjoys a client retention rate of 90% with growth and with 80% of new businesses coming from the client referrals, which is very remarkable. And I must congratulate for this dependability, Mr. Satish. So over to you, Mr. Satish. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. So I hope you guys can hear me clearly.
Yes.
Okay, good. So good morning in the US, and of course, good evening in India. Satish Patel, CEO of Analytics. Just to give you a background, I actually grew up in India. So I actually spent majority of my childhood in village actually, and then, went to the high school and I graduated from MS University. And I've been in the US for about more than 25 years. And, as a CPA, of course, I did my gig and gone through the consulting audits, reviews, and all those great things. And then, being an Indian, I think all of our Indians are kind of entrepreneurs in nature. So, I was involved in a lot of different startups. So starting from technology, retail, consulting, merger and acquisition. So been around and did many things. And one of my vision was always that, how do we give it back to the country where I grew up? And I think that's where we started about 15 years ago that, okay, let's do something where, we can include India as a part of our vision. And that's where we started the Analytics Solution with the goal. Our goal always been to be, just focus on mostly small to mid-sized businesses. And one-stop service means that's one of the things, all the business struggle getting help. And so it starts with one-stop service means accounting, finance, IT, data management, HR, admin, also sales and marketing and business development. And so our vision has been that we want to provide the tools and resources to SMB market that only big companies can afford. And we have been able to do it pretty successfully over last few years. We now have over 1,000 clients. Not only we deal with the direct clients, we have over 50 partners. We also developing a lot of products within our company. So we have a fintech division. So we are basically developing a lot of interesting products related to various industry. A lot of them are related to the fintech. So that's kind of our vision has been for the analytics. Is there any particular question that you want me to answer, or should I just, should I just go on and?
It's perfectly all right. So now we would like you to share your experience of during this pandemic period, what kind of challenges you had and how everybody came to ensure that the business runs seamlessly.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, I think on the US side of it, I think as you know that, and who would have guessed that, I'll share you the stories. A couple of my clients called me up and said, this was going back in February of 2020. And, basically they asked me and said, hey, listen, I hear this thing about China and, what happens if your office shut down? Now, I said, I mean, I was kind of laughing and say, how did that happen? How do, whole office would shut down? But never happens. But, we took it seriously. Our IT teams actually kind of say, hey, and we were always ready to make sure that, we have a backup plan for it, So, we took some actions, and, we were able to actually, all 450 people at that time, we were able to actually, start working from the home. So, the challenges for the US side of it was, on the client side of it, is nobody knew that this was coming. So suddenly overnight, all the businesses were shut down, right? Either fully shut down or partially shut down. So, I mean, small businesses actually supports the US engine, and there are 10 millions of them. And can you imagine that, half of them are kind of shut down? So everybody was nervous, including myself. I'll be honest with you, we are 450 people, and, just trying to worry about them, that, what's going to happen to all the employees, because if we don't have a client, then how are we going to support how we can keep the India employees? The good news is that we are pro-employee company. So we kept all of our employees, and that was probably one of the best decisions we made. So, on the US side of it all, everybody was facing cash flow, because all these small businesses, basically, they are supported by the business. So suddenly their cash flow stops, and, that affects their personal family. So the challenges, I'll give you all the challenges that our client faced, and then, I can tell you a little bit about how we were able to help. Then, to support all the small businesses, I think I give a lot of credit to our government in US, that they came out with a lot of incentive. Start with the Paycheck Protection Program, where they're giving away a lot of free loans. Also, they had employee retention credits, where, they were able to basically get some free cash. And also there were a lot of grants available. So just the challenge of going through getting those loans, because our business people, our owners are not, not all educated, or they are business savvy. So they needed a lot of help. As far as, the other challenges are, just the working from home culture. I think, most of us were kind of used to it. I mean, I know that I work half the time I work from home, and, other half, I go to the office. But many of the businesses, actually, they depend on just working at the location. And then this was a total different change. So just working from home created a lot of challenges. You would think that US would be the first one to be ready for it, but many businesses were not ready. Mindset wasn't ready, because it's one thing to be able to work from home, but other thing is being able to trust people that they're working from home, right? So that created a lot of challenges. As you probably know, a lot of you guys are working from home. It's difficult to sometimes balance the life, and, you have kids at home, and then you have a lot of noise at home, and also you have a lot of work. What I find difficult sometimes myself, and I can tell you about myself, that, you're always working kind of thing, because you're at the home and you're at the office. And so, you're checking emails and things like that, So, finding the balance between the work and the personal life has been the challenge for the many people in the US also. So those are some of the biggest challenges. How we help, I think, like I said, one of the best thing we have one of the best decisions we made was that we kept all the employees. And, so because of all these different programs, the PPP program, ERC, and the grants, we needed to provide them a lot of information. So one of the decisions we made is that we're not going to charge our clients for any of these extra services. That we provided basically, pro bono services. Our goal was to make sure that our clients are safe and their businesses are safe. So we will do everything. So just helping them to getting the money available from the government, just managing the cash flow. We actually often were involved in negotiating with the vendors. How do we cut down all the expenses? Technology point of view, I think biggest change. I mean, Zoom and Teams and WebEx and all those different tools. Not everybody knew how to use it, so we actually our infrastructure support teams, I mean, were there, I mean, 24/7 to help even our client to train them and how to use this particularly all the technology. And then as far as the businesses are concerned, just to giving them the peace of mind that we are there to support you. Various. I mean, I think one of the advantage we had was that we providing more than one services. So if they need accounting, finance services, we would there. IT support, we would there. Any other services, admin services, and so we were basically there for the client. We also help them with reassessing the growth opportunity. The way of doing business in US change. I mean, I can give you many examples, like, especially the most hard hit industry was the hotels and the restaurants. And, a lot of restaurants were closed down for you cannot go there. So, they had to develop a, delivery model. So we help them to kind of implement a lot of some of the system, just walk through the problems, and so they can stay open. Basically, lot of industry have changed the way training, virtual training. We did inside analytics. I mean, the biggest challenge we faced was that despite all this COVID situation, we continue to grow. And that was a blessing in the sky that we had to can you imagine having training employees where you never met them and kind of getting them used to it. So those are some of the challenges. Same way, as the business open up, new employees join, and how do you train them? So we kind of helping all the clients to providing all the different tools related to. So these are some of the ways that we help the analytics help our clients.
So has the business model changed now post pandemic, post COVID, and how is your organization adopting to this change, which is either constrained or evolved?
Yeah, so as far as analytics is concerned, I think we are in a great position. I think some of the industry actually, as you know, that a lot of industry actually suffered from the COVID or pandemic, but there are some industry who benefited from, definitely a lot of technology companies, but outsourcing companies, one of the beneficiary of actually the COVID. Since people are working remotely anyway, like, because, before, people were conscious about that. Okay, I need to make sure the work is getting done. When the people came to office, they at least kind of saw them working. It's difficult to monitor people, when you're working remotely. So, but now since this was kind of forced decision, and people kind of find out that, oh, it's not that bad, working from home. In fact, it's better because people are more happier, they're more productive. And so, people they have opened up their mindset as far as, okay, outsourcing concept, I would say. And a lot of time what happens is they said, okay, if I was going to outsource anyway, I'm thinking about it, let me explore some other options. And that includes outsourcing or offshoring to, a company like ours. So definitely, I think we have our, as all of you guys know, that the biggest challenge we have in our industry is the talent. We are fighting for the same talent, actually. And so we actually grew about 100 people since the beginning of this year. And we still have close to 100 openings. So I think it was a good for our business. And, one of different, I think our value proposition is different than a lot of our competitor. We just don't provide a routine transactional type of work. We also provide them the business advisory services, consulting services. So a lot of our employees likes that it's not just mundane type of work, but we we bring a lot of challenging work to our employees. That's one of my dream has been to, I always kind of kept hearing a lot of time that, oh, keep all the good work here in US and, outsource all the mundane work. I think we are capable of doing as complex work. And look at a lot of CEOs of the big companies, they're all Indians, right? So, I mean, their brain is there. And I think our job is to say, hey, how do we give them an opportunity? All people are looking for an opportunity. And that's kind of one of the vision that I have is that, how can we bring some interesting work to in India and help people? My favorite is like teaching people how to fish rather than giving them the fish.
That's right. Perfect. Wonderful. So this is remarkable and admirable work which you have done. And as I see, nobody had backup plans. This came all of a sudden. Neither the client side, no one knew about it. This is coming. But still, while some of the government incentives and PPP, etc., helped run the businesses, but more important was, as you rightly said, the challenge was mindset and the trust of the clients, as well as assuring that the business is safe and together. So you kept everybody, and it is also it's one of the example that you have said that no one was retrenched despite the fluctuations in businesses that would have been, and virtual training and other things help to retain the talents as well as make them more useful. So this is, I'm sure it is one of the very good example for others to learn how to survive the crises expected and or unanticipated and be ready forever. Yes. So I would like to move to now our next speaker, Mr. Rajiv Bhatia. Mr. Rajiv Bhatia is the president and country head with the analytics business solution only, but he looks after the India as a whole. Rajiv is a strong program and project management professional with an MBA. He's focused in finance from National University of Singapore. Passionate about creating leadership teams and virtuous cycles to enable the company to further growth and take on the larger challenges. His experience spanning over 30 plus years of handling delivery and leadership roles, he has been an integral part of growth journey of large, medium and small organizations and have managed people, processes and transitions very successfully. Rajiv heads the Analytics Solutions India office, guiding operations and managing growth while ensuring added value to all the stakeholders. His role includes focusing on individual personal development of employees and the client growth. He is a proven change management leader, and he has led the businesses and teams to success during the periods of uncertainty and market transitions. And since we heard the US side of the story of the business challenges, we thought it would be right to complement from our countryside scenario and how he managed during all these challenging times. So over to you, Rajiv.
Okay, thank you very much, Shailesh ji. Thank you, Sunil ji as well. And we've heard our CEO Satish in terms of how the pandemic took everybody by surprise. It was definitely not planned. It's not something that you wish on your enemies as well. But when it was on us, I think one of the things that we grew our strength from was that the first mandate, as Satish said, he didn't want to see a single person being retrenched, not a single person being left out. And I think consciously, subconsciously, we focused on 4 things right at the beginning. And we kind of have a small acronym internally for that called SEVA, which is security and well-being, health of people. So that was the first thing when we kind of moved about 500 odd people within a matter of a week or so back to their homes in terms of all the workstations, everything, made them operational and things like that. I think we also sort of thought that it doesn't just end there in terms of just the security element of it. Once they're at home, at least they're safer in terms of not coming to office and things like that. We thought that engagement was the other element of it. So that's where the E part of the SEVA comes into play. So the engagement was important because mentally, a lot of us were scarred. Mentally, a lot of us were going through those challenges in terms of having members of the family or some of our own team guys being affected. So engagement was very important. So, it's very different to have your subordinate in front of you and you giving instructions, and very different to kind of have a team huddle over a Teams or a Zoom call or things like that. So, we had to kind of change that dynamics also and ensure that our managers, our supervisors were ready to kind of handle that transition. The V element was the value element, where once we were out of the first initial logistics element of it, we said that the value creation or the value addition in terms of the employees must continue, because then only we can kind of also serve our clients, and that's where the training element came into play. That's where lots and lots of engagement things were planned. Trainings were planned, not only technical trainings but soft skills as well, because in a way we had to scale the people up. So that's where it was important that we kind of invested into the value creation element of it. And lastly was the adaptability. See, this was a situation which was kind of forced upon us, and we had to have people adaptable to, Satish was referring to work from home. It's a common culture in some of the larger cities also of India, Bangalore, Gurgaon, and things like that. It's definitely not there. Definitely not there in Ahmedabad. So how to make people adaptable to that, and also, at the same time, once you start working from home, all the ills and evils also of working from home are there as well, in terms of the health challenges as well. You keep eating, you don't exercise, and all those things. So the idea was to make people adaptable to that change as well. So I think if you have to look at it, one of the things that was very important for us was that the security and the mental well-being of our employees was maintained. There were people who had multiple cases of COVID in the family. I think there were certain decisions that we took, like interest-free loans to our employees. Almost, I can say about 40-45 of our employees took that loans. We dispersed lakhs to them. And again, this was not done as any kind of a extra service or something. There were people amongst us who were affected, so that financial assistance was kind of given. One of the things which was different from probably, I would say, other companies was that we actually formed a COVID help desk internally. And would you believe, Satish mentioned about the administration part of people, or so the HR side, they almost about 30-35 cases. We were providing the info in terms of which hospital bed was vacant, where was the blood units available, where was the injections available, what and how could we help. So they were people, and this was employees itself. Other than of course the admin and the HR side of things also. So where employees themselves, sort of contributed and said, oh, I can help. I needed some injection for my relative, but he or she is better now, so we can do that. There were a lot of employee connects. We had more than 500 employee connects. I remember talking to a couple of employees who were contemplating suicides because of having those kind of situations or so. But thankfully and by the grace of God, we could handle. We can't really bring back those who went away, and we were fortunate that at least from an employee side, we didn't really have any, touch wood, any casualty. But of course, families was something that we couldn't really, manage. We had, what we realized is that we had to do a lot of health and well-being initiatives. So a lot of mindfulness sessions were done, a lot of healthcare ability sessions were done. How do you exercise? What do you do when you're working from home? And there was an additional thing. You see, there's a limit in terms of when you go to office, there's a limited time frame in which you work. Here, there's no time, because you have to finish the work. So you often actually end up working more than what you normally work. So that's where the discipline in terms of the health side came. Satish led by example. We had an application called Impact where a lot of us were kind of, while walking, contributed, or every step you walk, you kind of contribute in terms of, and we're very proud to say we contributed about 2.87 lakhs, 3 lakhs, because every day, somebody or the other was walking some steps, and there was this, we had this challenge as well as to who would exceed the other. So some of those things really helped in terms of.
So Rajiv, you did a wonderful job in keeping them active and well-being, taking care of well-being besides the traumatized mind. So I think there are two more challenges. One was the morale will be very, it was very low during those traumatized period, and keeping them in a good and healthy mind or workable mind. How did you manage that? And secondly, must have been challenges of infrastructure and connectivity, because when people started working from home, not everybody had probably the the workspace or the kind of connectivity which you would require to service the client. Or even I remember one of our other speaker in other webinar, he was saying that they had even bought the tables. There were some employees who didn't have even tables which where they can actually sit and work together. So I'm sure you must also have faced some of these kind of challenges. How did you manage that or overcome?
Absolutely, absolutely. And for us, it was even more important because you see, how do you replicate the office infrastructure back home?
Yes.
I remember ensuring that there were some people who could not sit because of their back was used to the chair that they had in office. So we
Right.
physically transported those chairs, and this is in peak curfew time. This is a time when nobody is allowed to move or so. And of course, you're absolutely right about the internet. So one of the first things that we did was we said, let's provide uh, internet reimbursement or so. Now, in some cases, we had that limitation in terms of some of the providers. I'll not name them, but some of the providers also, of course, for them also the demand had kind of grown 4 times. So we gave the choice of asking them to get whatever service provider they could get, and we would reimburse that. So that was some of the things that we did in terms of ensuring that everybody's got internet, everybody's got connectivity. There were challenges, definitely. There were times when because of the calls or because of the internet bandwidth or things like that. But over a period of after the first initial couple of months or so, I think it got progressively improved or so. And we tried to help wherever possible from an IT side of things. So that way, I think our IT infra team did a fantastic job of ensuring that the equipment was provided to all the employees at home. Now, regarding the morale side of things, as I said, the first few months was just to ensure that people are not panicking. People are not panicking. And of course, as I said, there were casualties in the family. So a lot of sessions were done in terms of, uh, we did something like 15-20 sessions in terms of how do you meditate, how do you keep yourself calm, the mindfulness element of it and things like that. So that was the whole intention. And again, as I said, when I was talking about the seva element of it, there's an engagement element also. So one is how do you keep your mental health okay? The second is how do you engage? So we said, let's not stop any of the rewards and recognitions. Let's not stop some of the element where people still feel important, people still feel valued. And if somebody was doing a good job, then we continue to run our kind of virtual recognitions, so to speak. And in fact, in some cases, we increase that so that people feel engaged, people feel important. And so, that element was kind of taken care of in a big way.
So if I may ask, maybe Satish or you can answer, if you look at the big challenge or big changes, what are the changes you will continue with and you will adapt the company, and what you would like to probably discard over a period of time?
Yeah.
I'm
So,
sure.
yeah. Do you want to go, Rajiv?
No. You're the
Yeah.
boss.
So, I mean, as a, as I always say to our people, first of all, thank you for having us, and thanks you for the opportunity. I think it would be for. I think I give a lot of our credit to our employees, and it's like it's like I'm watching your back, and then our employees basically say, Satish, you don't worry about anything. You protected our job. We'll take care of our clients and at whatever cost. So yes, it was difficult with the communications, but there was a lot of things. If you want to help, I mean, there's a millions way different ways to help. And I think our employees were there to kind of help. They stepped in big time. And so I thanks all of my employees. So without them, I mean, I think it would be foolish for us to take a credit. As far as the changing how things going to change, I think I always say that be safe. Don't take unnecessary risk. And that's kind of part of sometimes bothers me also in India. We kind of ignore sometimes, the rules and regulations and the weddings and, if you're not, if you don't care about other, I mean, yourself, but care about others because, this is easy to spread, so take care of the health first. I mean, I always believed in exercise and eating good. I think it's difficult in India because we eat so many sweets and oil stuff, so but eating well. But I think the model is changing, so yeah, now we are basically moving to hybrid model. Before, actually, I didn't think that it was possible. Even we didn't think that, oh, everybody had to come to office and we need to have an extra space, and we were always looking to add more offices. But now, I mean, it's very much possible that we can have a hybrid model where we allow people flexibility to staying home, taking care of their family. A lot of female, we have probably a lot of females in our staff, and as you know, our culture is difficult sometimes for a lot of females, so we have to allow them some flexibility. So the whole model of working from home, so we are exploring it. So let people continue to allow them to work from home, but at the same time we have to make sure that company's interest is taken care of it. So we have to implement some of the measurement system that we have to make sure that people are productive, because the last thing you want to do is half the people are carrying other half people, and that's not really fair. So we wanted to create a fair environment. So those are some of the things. Definitely, I think as you know that the market is pretty right now, I mean, especially in last 6 months, has been very difficult to find the talent. And I think one of the things people do is that they jump opportunity just for few rupees, and my kind of advice to them is that, stick with something, you're doing, and look at the opportunity. Don't throw away your career because, somebody's giving you more money. And, and look at the companies and say, what type of challenging work they're bringing, and, are they there when they need it? Just like, we did not fire anybody during the COVID. We had every reason to, because I was as nervous as anybody else also, that how are we going to survive, but we kept them. So I think some of these things just changing the mindset of the millennium generations, and I think it's important.
So coming back to you, Rajiv, now we see a lot of large companies have started calling the employees back in office. So how do you see it, and would you be following the same pattern, calling
I
everybody?
have 300 people in office right now.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
I have 300 people in office right now.
Okay.
So in some sense, this is a community. We don't want people to sort of, we want people to be safe. So the first step is to ensure that everybody is vaccinated. So we've done the vaccination for most of our employees. And at the same time, we've kind of kept it flexible also. So long as work is getting done, the productivity is being met and things like that. So we've already got about 50 to 60% of our staff in a way back. But we are, as Satish said, we are definitely conscious of the fact the hybrid model is here to stay. So we'll have to live with that also. Now, how do you do that effective, combination? I think one of the things, as you said, from a change perspective that we'll have to live with is that there'll have to be this hybrid model which will remain, because that is the only way we'll get talent, and therefore the importance of communication is very, very, very relevant. So that's what we're trying to ensure, that our managers, our supervisors, our team leaders are ensuring that they get into those huddles even virtually, and ensure that whatever was being done physically will ultimately be done virtually also. So I think that's the new change that we
As a
look
man of communication, I'm very happy at least somebody touched upon the communication. And it is actually very important to stay in touch with them, keeping them
at.
abreast of what's happening around and everything else. So Satish also touched, and Rajiv, would you like to also tell about what kind of engagement activity you did to keep the talent busy or meaningfully engaged?
So I would probably give some numbers here.
Okay.
5,000 plus hours were just spent in terms of ensuring that we kept the mental side okay. We
Okay.
did about 8,000 plus hours in terms of training, in
Mhm.
terms of learning. This is both soft skills as well as the technical side. I mean, a lot of technical trainings were done just to ensure, because as Satish said, we hired about 100 people. How do you ensure that those 100 people are also at the same level at some of the earlier ones or some of the more tenured ones? So almost about 8,000 plus hours of training was done in terms of ensuring that they're at that level, or they are able to deliver the same quality that we expect of them also.
Right.
And apart from that, you know, uh, because you have to, as I said, the engagement side of things or so, we did a lot of sessions where we said, and normally you would do it in office, but we said, let's do a virtual tambola, let's do a Mandela art workshop, let's do, uh, and the idea was that let's take one of our own, uh, you know, one of our
In-house
own,
talent.
yeah,
In-house talent.
outstanding talent or so internally, because it kind of, and what it shows is, what it shows to people, we run what we call as the We Care at Analytics program, where that way we ensured that a lot of engagement activities were done, employee connects were done, HODs were talking to their heads of the department, were talking to their people, HR was talking to their to the staff or so. So that way we try to ensure that a lot of engagement was done, but we also ensured that creatively, and when the mind is stressed, you have to kind of find out ways and means to kind of bring out their creative side as well. So they were we encourage people to write. We said, why don't you write some things, why don't you, there were contests that we did at a virtual level or so, and this might continue. So we'll have to kind of continue to reinvent and reimagine ourselves in terms of ensuring that they're engaged from that perspective.
Fantastic. So you rightly said, because the service industry is human capital intensive, and it's very important to keep them intact. And I quite liked your Seva model, which is security, well-being, engagement, and attaching them to the services. And these are the ways definitely which helps company to float through the challenging times. And I'm sure your clients elsewhere as well as they would have appreciated and recognized the service, the seamless service you could provide them, and also the value added, as you rightly said, that there was no additional levy of any charge where you gave them additional services also. Yeah, fantastic. So we would like to come to an end to this, and our colleague Mr. Sunil Dave, who is our incoming president and also our council member. Mr. Dave, yes.
Yeah, hi. Yeah. Thank you
Before
very
that,
much.
before that, I would like to thank everybody for the excellent support I received during my tenure. I'll be stepping down during towards the month end, and probably we may or may not get a chance again to speak to each other. So thank you everybody, and it has been wonderful to sail through this challenging period with the support of all of you. And I'm so grateful for the kind support all of you have extended. Over to you, Sunilji.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shailesh. We are not letting you go anywhere so easily. So we will ensure that we are around us. Thank you very much, all the panelists. I would like to formally, I will call him Satish Bhai. He just mentioned he is from Baroda. Maybe
Yes.
not a long time. We'll invite you back, sir, for a, one-on-one session with, face-to-face session with all our friends here. What I liked about your talk was when you said that small businesses in America or in the US had kept the wheels of the large businesses going, and some of your clients are small businesses and they needed perhaps the most support which you were able to provide with help of your Indian company and your Indian support. And what I also like that you said that you yourself had to learn new concepts as well as the pandemic progressed from February onwards to ensure that the learning not only happens at the client end, but at your end as well, to step up, as they say, in this difficult time. So thank you very much, Satish Bhai. I know it's early morning in where you are. We appreciate. Rajiv ji, you are very close by, though we couldn't be together. But thank you very much. I believe handling that 300 plus employees was not an easy task. Everybody must have had different challenges at home. And when you explain that concept of seva, yes, that word is synonymous with Indians for many years. But I think the way you explained and perhaps made pieces of it and ensured that your clients, your company, your employees could make the most of the difficult situation that we were in. And let's hope this is behind us soon and we can continue to help our clients in the best possible manner. Thank you, sir. Jaideep bhai, came through. Thank you very much for explaining cyber security in a very simple way. When we start traveling, I think all of us are looking forward to traveling. I think you will be the first one to travel, as Shailaji had said. So we will look to that as well. As soon as you are out, we know that you are everything is safe outside. And cyber security is important, I know, to your clients, but as the penetration of technology has increased, everybody has a smartphone and a laptop. It is still to be determined who owns security. Is it the client the service provider, or the client? Where does it stop? So I'm sure it's a challenging time, and I think as Satish said very well that one new invention brings about 10 new inventions. I think we just mentioned in the opening remark. So 10 more phases where the security has to be provided. So thank you, Jaideep bhai. I appreciate your pointing and explaining. And finally, Shailesh, I think you did a thankless job. I think your job was to listen, then summarize, then ask the right pertinent questions to all our panelists. I think it's not easy because you have to digest first before you can, say something about it. I think that was not an easy task, but I think you did very well. I know you mentioned what you did mention, that IACC remains strongly indebted to you and during your tenure, because I think I must tell all the panelists that, IACC Ahmedabad had to work and they did a very good job in the last 18 months because of the pandemic, and Shailesh bhai was able to navigate through help of, some of the council members and Subodh here at the branch. And we must thank him, Shailesh bhai, thank you very much. Subodh, thank you for, being the, back end of this program. And all to the listeners, I mustn't forget them, all the, members who joined in today. I think thank you for taking your time out. IACC Ahmedabad continues to remain at the forefront of promoting trade between India and US. I request and I request all of you that if you find any benefit of this forum of IACC, I invite you to become a member. Please discuss this with your friends. To all our panelists, please spread the word that IACC is a platform that brings people like you, all of us here together, and about 100 odd plus participants that we have today. So with that note, I thank you, everybody. I thank you, all our friends in the US, in India, in Ahmedabad. And thank you very much. Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, each one of you. My gratitude for accepting and being with us today. Thank you.
Thank you.